So this is something I made a while back ago. Gonna set it up right now. Make sure all the pieces are all good because my brother's gonna use it for his photo shoot. It's super heavy though. Fucking thing weighs at least 300 pounds, so I gotta move it slowly because it's just me. That's pretty clean. See this? Gotta wash it off. This is the roof. Pissed on this. Looks like right there. Alright, so you'll notice some of these pieces, they got these little pieces of wood, or these little screws, notches right here. Make sure you can see it. So keep these to the side here. Just note that these are different because of this. Okay. Here's another one. So these are the slotted ones. See that hole? So that screw I showed you, it's gonna go into that hole right there. So we'll put these to the side here. We got our table here. But the front's still nice. Alright, so we got our bolts here. You got your washers here, and then you got your bolts. So these are the bolts you're gonna use. Alright, from the back one, the easiest way I can kind of explain it is I put these little numbers on here. So you can kind of see it. That says 2, and this one's a 2. Alright, so it's up to you if you want to use a washer. Like imagine if the board's off, then you can put the washer in between this, and then put this, and then another washer in that. I wouldn't do it. I would just put a washer on the outside and keep it like that. Or you don't even have to freaking have the washer on this one. You can just do it like that. So. Alright, and then your side one right there. You can see, I'll just double mark it though. There's a number 1 right there. Alright, so here's a good example of just kind of assembling it. Like I said, there's the 1. And there's the 1. And then we'll go ahead and put this bolt through here. Just like that. Carriage bolt. Nice and straight. Alright, so far we should look like this. You got a 1 right there. Then you got a 1 bottom right there. You got a 2 right there. And then a 2 bottom right here. I'll also put the top just in case. There's a 2 top. And then there's the 1 top. Alright, so from there we're going to go ahead and put our table down, because this is going to be part of some supports. And then as you can see, there's some slots cut out right here that perfectly match this. Okay. So then now you should look like this. So we'll start off a little slow. Let's get these all set up, but we're gonna go ahead and basically separate the ones that do not have these little studs, these little ones. So don't worry about these right now. We're gonna put these to the side. So these little stud ones, remember those little guys? Just put right there to the side. And we're going to focus on these 2 long ones. Alright, so we'll do one side at a time. We'll start with side 1 here. And to know that we're on side 1 is that we see that we're on the top here. Those are also 1. And we'll go ahead and start with the longer board. So not the one that has this little stud in it. Remember, we're not going to start with this one yet. So we'll put this one to the side. So we're going to start right here on one side. We're going to grab our board here. And we're going to inspect it. And it's going to say this side on the bottom, and it has a arrow pointing this way, which is the front pointing this way. So as you see the arrow there, there's also an arrow on that side. We're going to put it right in this slot here so that it's pointing this way. Might not be too balanced right now, just because we're going to get the carriage bolts and everything all secured on there. So just want to let you know that right now, and to know that we're also on the right track, is we have a 1 front here and top, and then we also have a don't use number 1 on the top here. Remember those guided holes we seen last time on that previous little stump there? We're going to be guiding it into this hole here. So remember that plank right there. I'm going to guide it into this hole, the one that has a screw popping out. So we're going to go ahead and inspect this. As you can see, it's our plank. Got a hole right there. And then we also got some writing here that says front, which means if we're in front of this, we're facing this way. So got an arrow pointing frontwards, and then the stud right there, guide hole on support beam. So this is support beam right here. That's what we're going to do, be guiding that hole right there again. So let's go ahead and do that right here. We're going to go ahead and put this, there we go, just so that's just like that. Alright, so like I had it before, we're going to go this way. I'm going to get that fed in there. And we're going to feed our bolts in through this side first. Alright, in the kit here, you're going to have 2 separate bolts here. You're going to have these 2 big ass bolts. Going to have the super long one here, which we're going to use right now, and then your standard one that we've been using this whole time. Alright, so our super long bolt here, the hella long one, we're going to feed it in here. We're going to put a washer in this space between these 2x4s here, and then we're also going to put another washer at the end here. We're not going to screw it down yet because we do got to put the roof on, so go ahead and hold off and I'll show you what it looks like once this is all fed through. And again, the washers are going to make a difference for this particular part. So this long piece here, it's blank, no washer, we're going to feed it in, and then we got a washer right there, and then we're going to feed the rest of it through here. Okay, so right now you should have something like this. This side, notice how the bar or the 2x4 is on the outside. Going to be getting a couple washers. For this particular part, we're going to be using 3 washers on each side, only utilizing 2 washers now. The third one will be used at the end. Here we go, just like our other support here, we have writing. It's going to tell us to put this at the top here and to guide it into this hole where we smack it right there. And remember, we're not putting this on the inside, we're putting this on the outside. And then we're going to go ahead and guide it in there. When we put the back support in, we're going to go ahead and back some of these screws off here. So just keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and probably push it so that maybe less than a quarter is exposed, because once we go in and put the roof part in, we're going to have to push this back and go ahead and fit it in there very well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. As I said, we backed the bolts up here because we're going to be fitting the roof support here. So there's going to be 1 2x4, second 2x4, third 2x4. Before we do the last part, it's good to look through the rest of the supplies here. Remember, we have carriage bolts, assortment of washers, and also regular bolts here. There's only 2 of the long carriage bolts, as you've seen right here, that we put on before, which we have backed out more than a quarter way so we can fit in the back side of the roof. The front part is going to take basic carriage bolts here. So this normal ones are going to be fed in through here. And as we do this part, it's going to be normal when we first get it in. So no washer here. We'll go ahead and pre-do that as well on this side. No washer. Alright, so now we're on the final part here. We're going to be assembling the roof, or putting the roof on the top here. A good way to know which side is the front is that we have our flap here. The side's always going to have this kind of little rain flap, but then also I wrote front and side right there on the inside. So we'll go ahead and get that all set up. It's easier if you have two people. So we're going to go ahead and start off from the front here and go ahead and guide this in. Put a washer here. Put the 2x4 in, washer, and then bolt. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like though. So remember, we got the bolts in, not even a quarter way popping out. They're just basically just sitting in the 2x4 for support. We're going to have our washers ready because we're going to get this in here. We're going to go ahead and put a washer in. Then we're going to feed it through the next 2x4, which is going to be on the front of the top here. And then we're going to end it off with a washer and a bolt. So we're going to do that right now. I'll go ahead and get the other side ready here. Put a washer on this side. Remember, our flat part, and also it says front on it, is our front. This is our back. So we'll set it right there. Okay. So kind of like T-form, as you've seen. So not like this, but kind of set it like this. As you can see, there's little parts to kind of rest it on the top here. So you're going to go ahead and go like this. Set it like that. Rest it right there. And there we go. So now we'll go ahead and put this right here. And since this is the front, when we put this on here, we'll put the flap up. When we put it on here, we're going to go ahead and put it like this. And then once we get everything fastened, we're going to angle it like that, and then we're going to secure it like that. So make sure when you put it like this, it's going to be loose enough so that you can pivot it like that. That hints the washers. The washers are the most important part so that you're able to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be wood on wood. So we're going to go ahead and get this here, and we're going to guide that in. There we go. Get our washers primed. One here. One here. Carriage bolt. We're not going to tighten anything down right now just because we want to make sure it's going to pivot back and forth. Also, the back is not secure at all. It's still balancing, so we're going to go and do that part now. Remember, the back has longer bolts, so we're going to make sure we use all the rest of our washers. You should have one washer left over after this. Now that we're on the last part, remember how we recessed the longer carriage bolts a little back. We'll go ahead and get our bolts all set up here. Remember, everything's a tight fit when you do this part, so just kind of make sure you keep in consideration when you're forcing all this stuff in there. You might need a little hammer or something. And remember, you're gonna seal it off with a washer at the end. So this side got slid. Perfect fit, so it shouldn't be too bad. Kind of T structure. It's mainly for top support here. That's why I kind of want to had it. Like I said, finger tighten on this side, finger tighten on this side, and then the front we're going to go ahead and mess around with. Depending on how you want it here. This is the cool part because you can kind of angle it on where you want it to kind of reflect. I'm gonna kind of angle it I'm gonna kind of angle it at a, not a angle, but at a kind of that it's facing you. And this is good, so if you ever have like signs or kind of like little neon displays, you can have it facing people or have it facing up. Just depends. So like right there is good. So we'll go ahead and use my little trusty. That's nice and fastened, so we'll go ahead and do the back. Alright, so after this part is nice and secure in the front here, we're going to go ahead and go to the back. And like I said, you're going to be able to adjust this. So remember to keep your T-form here. So the T-form is always going to be the top support here. We'll pick up those washers. The T-form is always going to be your main support. You might want to do this or think you should do this, don't do that. You can always have it this way. And to get this slack out, see that's a little too much there, you can always do this. Wrap it like that. So let me go back. So imagine you get everything assembled and you're like, damn, that's like way too much. So you're gonna grab this, you're gonna grab it, and you're gonna wrap it like that. So let's go back. You're gonna do this. Alright. So now let's check it. There we go. So now the slack is out a little bit. We can always adjust it once we get everything all nice and tightened, especially from the front, but that's way better than what it was before. Nice and straightened out there. Like I said, we're gonna iron this, make it look really nice, spray it down, make it look clean. It's been sitting out under a tarp all year and everything. So there we go, we got all adjusted and torqued down. And there we go. All right, there we go. That's how it should look when we're all done. Key things to take away here when we're done. The placement of this side, like I said, can't stress it enough. When you put this board on here, it needs to be on the outside of this, not the inside, because the inside is going to have the roof support. So remember, outside. Also, another thing that's going to help big time is to make sure you follow the instructions. They're small, but they are around. Just gotta look around. And remember, front side is always facing the front of the stand. So, go ahead and do a walkthrough of all the number charts again. It's only 1 and 2. Not too bad. Another thing is, remember, this is a long bolt. You got a bare bolt here, no washer like I said, but then you go through this 2x4 and there is a washer here. That's why there's a space so it moves. It's able to maneuver and pivot. You got another spacer here. Also makes it easier so when you want to fold this in, you can pivot at the end as well. You got another carriage bolt and also a washer. If this is slagged or sagging, don't worry, because you can grab this, back up 2 bolts here, and then pull it in, just like how it is here. That should be it.